Do you want me to go first, or do you want to introduce yourself? Do you want me to ask you questions?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think it
My
needs to
whole
be
thing
super
is like
long.
how we started Explore has been super organically. Like we don't sit there and like really worry about things. We just do what feels right. A lot of the times, like whenever we're doing a video, that's how we've always thought, just do what feels right versus like trying to force something to work. That's what I kind of
Yeah.
anticipated with the podcast too.
Sometimes you do get into that, not really habit, but when you are trying to make something better, you do start to analyze it like that. Maybe you don't as much. We're kind of opposites in that way. Like I want it to be perfect, and I kind of think through all of it, but you've taught me to just sometimes just go for it.
Well,
Because if I do put too much thought, then honestly it ends up being not as great as if I just
your intuition's always going to be the best, right? Like if you follow your intuition, you're going to naturally go to what seems right or what seems like a good fit.
yeah.
That's what I was saying. And if you don't have good intuition on something, I don't know, maybe relax.
Just
It's
relax.
intuition.
So
Intuition's like the
easy.
best thing to go off of. Like it's in you. You know what feels right. You know what to do, but you just can't explain it or you can't define it.
Okay. My
Right?
intuition tells me we need an intro. Not for every podcast, but I mean obviously like if you sit down and you've done a couple already and you're interviewing someone or talking to someone from another business, but you've already like introduced yourself, I don't think you have to introduce yourself every single time.
So it would be like, all right, welcome to Explore Amarillo Podcast. Today we are talking about Explore Amarillo with Jaycee Caldwell and Patrick Lee and how we came to be,
Did you
right?
hear your tone change?
No.
It became more. I do the same thing. You've told me I do this. It's like news reporter
Yeah, I
ish.
don't like that.
No, just I
I
already felt
know,
it. I was
right?
about to
But that's the
pause.
problem with doing an intro. Is like you're thinking like you get
It's
into
your
that
elevator
newscaster thing.
speech. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's just the intro. Like, there we go. We set it up. We know what it is, right, everybody?
Yeah, but my name's Jaycee Caldwell, soon to be Mrs. Lee,
Mm-hmm.
and you're Patrick Lee.
And I'm Patrick Lee.
You're my fiance.
And together we have done Explore Amarillo with two other people. It's
Darcy and
Darcy and
Kelly.
Kelly. So Kelly is actually my sister-in-law, and Darcy is someone that worked with us at Starlight Ranch. She's done a lot of videos and stuff, and whenever Starlight Ranch kind of wasn't going to be a thing this year, this is something we all kind of got together and we wanted to do. And it's hard to imagine. We started like a year ago, and I swear I was like, this thing's going to hit like 200 followers and fizzle out. But it grew drastically and it grew extremely quick.
Yeah. It's crazy to break down the timeline. And you definitely got to give yourself more credit. You're the one that thought of this whole thing. And I remember thinking, like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, it also sounded like a lot of work. And for all of us involved, we all have full time jobs outside of this. So to me, it sounded overwhelming. But it just started out with you creating the pages, and then you asked me to do a voiceover. And for me, that was easy. I was like, I can do a voiceover. Um, but we did kind of butt heads in the beginning.
All the
Oh,
time.
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's crazy to think that it has come that far. Because then you pulled in Darcy because we did need more help. I mean, I couldn't commit the time fully, and the pages were just growing so quickly, and it was like we couldn't keep up with it. And you pulled Darcy in, and she really, I'm trying to think of what did people say? She really put the pedal to the metal, and like,
Well, she really loves creating videos, and I think we all kind of feel that way. Especially, I love to create a video that kind of makes people feel a certain way. I love to get a reaction, whether it's like I create a scary video talking about the scary stories at the Big Texan or someone eating 372-ounce steaks. I like that feeling of people feeling a certain way or commenting how they feel about a video. And that's what I think we all feel,
yeah,
that creative spirit. You just want to, put your work out there and see what happens. And that's been really fun with Explore is that, we're not tied to anything. We can do whatever we want to do. We post things that we actually enjoy and what we like.
I think that's what it was for me, and maybe why I was so hesitant in the beginning. Because right before that, I was working with the advertising agency. And as a person working in social media, we really did have to like break down and analyze every little thing. And I felt like everything had to be perfect. And I had this structure and idea behind everything and felt like it had to be executed a certain way. And that's kind of what was holding me back and keeping me from just going for it. And that was whenever Darcy came in and she just took off with it. And seeing the traction from that, it was like, okay, like I've got to catch up and be a part of this because what she's doing is working. So it really was hard for me to like let down that organizational mindset. Um but you're so right. It was about like what we were passionate about because as soon as I did a video on girls night, that was one of the best ones that I had done,
Mhm.
and it was because it was something that I do every day and something I enjoyed doing. So those type of videos were just a lot easier.
Well, yeah, it's a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
It's you being real. It's you having a good time and showing that with the world, and that makes all the difference. Because I remember, I would have you do voiceover for some of my content, but whenever I have you do voiceover for Texas Tech hockey, the difference in
Yeah.
energy was just tremendous. And it was like, okay, I can tell she definitely enjoyed doing this one because you went to Texas Tech. You're from Lubbock.
Yeah. Did you expect that from me when you sent me that video and you were like, I need you to do a voiceover for
Yes.
this?
I was
You
like,
knew?
yeah, because I was like, okay, it's Texas Tech. Like, this is going to be a fun one. Plus, I like it because it's hockey.
Yeah.
And then, just to put something together, a lot of people didn't know we had Texas Tech hockey. And that was really fun to see in the comments. Like, first off, there's hockey in Amarillo. And second off, we have, Texas Tech hockey play here.
Yes. That's my favorite thing about Explore is we get comments all the time like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea this was in Amarillo." And honestly, I feel like as we go, there's stuff that we don't know is in Amarillo, and then when we do start sitting down and brainstorming and we're bumping ideas off of each other, it's also like forced us to kind of dig deeper into what's actually in Amarillo. But even as a Texas Tech alum, I remember my senior semester, I had a kid sitting next to me in class all year long, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I got a hockey game tonight." I was like, "Oh, are you in like an intramural league?" And he's like, "No, I play for Texas Tech hockey." And I was so shocked. I had no idea. Grew up in Lubbock my whole life, gone to Texas Tech, was about to graduate Texas Tech, didn't even know they had a hockey team. And here this whole time they've been coming up to Amarillo to practice
Well, what was
or
it? It
Odessa.
was actually Odessa, because back in the day, whenever you were at Tech and I was at DBU, we would play Texas Tech. And the first time we played them, it was actually in a mall, like in a mall in Odessa, Texas. Dude, it
Oh.
was crazy. And then it was a lot of fun because, people were shopping and then they'd come see us play. It's always fun when we have people watching you, of course. But it was not, Texas Tech hockey's definitely gotten a lot better. And Kendall, Kendall's my buddy. He's coaching it. I try to help out as much as I can. But they actually have a good, like, probably one of the best records they've had.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
So
awesome.
when did they start coming to Amarillo to practice?
So they started, I think, 2 years ago. As soon as we got the ice ranch, it made so much more sense for them to come up here. And then they don't have a lot of games. I wish they had more, but it is hard for those guys. They're college guys.
Yeah.
So for them to like get together, on a Sunday after, a Friday, Saturday for a college kid, Sunday getting up in the morning and going and playing hockey, you can tell they're
Oh, the motivation to do
yeah, and
that
they've
takes a
they've been
lot.
out all night but they still get here. They love it. Any hockey
And
player is willing to do something like that.
they're paying for all of that. The
Hmm.
school, I mean, as far as you may not know,
I think
but
there's dues, but I do think the school helps them out.
that's good.
Yeah. Um, DBU, whenever I was there, we never paid anything on dues, and we got like all new gear. They flew us around the country. It was awesome. It was so good. And
Man, well, I hope that for Texas Tech. I hope they can get there.
yeah, well, to tell you the truth, I'm surprised Lubbock used to have a hockey rink with the Cotton Kings.
Yep.
And
I remember as a kid when we still got phone books in the mail, the Cotton Kings were the cover of the phone book.
yeah, I remember their logo because back whenever we had the Gorillas, they would always play the Cotton Kings. And tell you the truth, I didn't even know where the Cotton Kings were from, but they were always playing them. And I remember watching those games at the Civic Center. And actually, what's funny is the guy that played for the Gorillas, Austin Sutter, he's the guy that, started the ice ranch. He's the owner of the Wranglers. Like, he's doing everything in his power to make hockey a thing in Amarillo.
Yeah, well, hopefully someone could do that for Lubbock. Their ice rink was not at the Civic Center. It was at the center across from the football stadium,
Mhm.
across from the Jones. And it's the same building that I graduated in. It's the same building where they always had the ABC rodeo.
Mhm.
And I think they tore that down. I'm trying to think if it was before or after 2020. But they just recently tore that down, and I feel like that would have been where they could have had an ice rink again.
It's so
So,
great. If you were to go to Canada and be like, yeah, our hockey rinks, occasionally get leased out to a rodeo. Like, I was at the Civic Center, and they bring in all that dirt for the rodeo that was just there, and I'm like, man, you imagine like the amount of work to haul that dirt down there, cover the ice. I think they might melt the ice, or they put the dirt on top and then take all that dirt back out, do your ice surface again. Like, just the amount of work. And that's just crazy. But that's Texas. We have rodeo arenas where we have ice hockey games, which is
yeah.
just crazy. I'm glad it is a thing. And Amarillo, I'm really thankful that we have a rink now. But man, if you were to tell someone else, especially up in Boston or those hockey towns, they would just think we're absolutely nuts for doing what we do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Back to Explore Amarillo, another thing we kind of talked about, like why we do it, why we like it. But one of the things, whenever what always bothered me is, I'd go on Facebook, I would post for the Big Texan. I do all the social media for the Big Texan, but you would type in like Amarillo, on Google, on Facebook, or these type of platforms, and it was always like extremely negative content, like just, I'm not going to name the pages, but they're just pages that just make Amarillo look horrible. I remember on
Mhm.
YouTube finding videos, some guy like was walking around downtown Amarillo talking about what a ghost town it is, and it's like, man, if other people see this, of course they're going to think there's nothing to do in Amarillo.
Yeah.
And I think Visit Amarillo was doing a really good job, but we needed more. In my
Mhm.
opinion, like we need more content out there showing all the cool things to do. And so that was one of the reasons why I felt like we should start something.
Yeah, there was a lot of negativity around how boring Amarillo was
Yeah.
and not having anything to do. And again, that's why I like it so much is people being like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea."
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah, there are things to do. It
There's
might not,
plenty of things to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
it might not be as big as Dallas or Oklahoma City or Albuquerque. I feel like that's where like people go to a
Hmm.
bigger city to do things. But
Well, they have a lot more variety. I'll say that, but it's not like we don't have. For a small town, like there's plenty of things to find and do here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's I went to school in Dallas, so coming from Dallas to Amarillo, you kind of like, there's definitely not as many bars or places to go, but the places that there are to go, they need kind of more attention, I think,
Yeah.
to get their name out there and show what they got offer.
I think it is a lot of um pushing any local businesses out there too. That was also kind
Hmm.
of our main goal.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it gets hidden as a city grows. Obviously, more chains come in, and I also feel like, or I hope that one of the things that has come out of Explore Amarillo, I really hope that it's helped our locals be more proud of where they're from.
Hmm.
And I think that has kind of shown up a little bit more because when I first moved here 5 years ago, it was on the Facebook pages and everyone just talking about how lame it was. And
It's
like,
horrible.
you didn't hear
Like
anyone trying to defend
that.
Amarillo.
Yeah, it's like the most negative
It was so
things,
sad.
and you sit there, it's like these people just sit here and gripe about everything in
Hmm.
Amarillo, and I'm like, this does us no good. This isn't doing anything positive. And who wants to go online and just talk about how much you hate something? It's
There
like,
are people like
dude, it's
that.
insane.
I
And
remember seeing one and I just clicked on the name and you can see like all their activity within the group and
Mhm,
everything they said was negative.
it's horrible.
I was like, that's all you do all day long.
Yeah, just sit there and gripe about everything you don't like. And it's like, why not just talk about the things you do like? Why not show the cool things? And
Yeah.
that's, I'm glad that hope that our content overrides all the negative,
I hope
because
so too.
we strive to make everything positive.
I think we've definitely brought a new perspective to Amarillo.
Mhm.
And I feel maybe it's just because of the algorithm, but I feel like I've seen more people um, being prideful about Amarillo. And it also seems like a lot more people are doing events or trying, and maybe this is all in relation to COVID, because I moved here like what 1 or 2 years after COVID, so everyone was kind of depressed and didn't
2021.
want to get out,
Mhm.
and now it's kind of shifting again and everyone's getting out there more. But yeah, I don't know. It's there. I've told you this 1,000 times and I tell everyone this too, and I just think it's kind of funny, but I always said I would never live in Amarillo, Texas or Odessa. Sorry, Odessa
Wow, you
people.
put us in the same category as
Ah,
Odessa?
yeah, sorry.
Jeez.
But here I am, and it's grown on me, and I love it, and I'm proud to call it home. I do when I go back to Lubbock. Of course, I just have this like nostalgic feeling, and that's probably in relation to Texas Tech or growing up there my whole life. And I do miss it, but it is nice when I come to Amarillo. It actually feels like home now.
Well, I always told you, I think Lubbock would be a lot like Amarillo if it didn't have Texas Tech. I think it'd be almost the same identical town. I really do.
Yeah, it could be pretty similar. I mean, we have AC,
Mhm.
our community college, and then there's WT and Canyon. That's another thing too. People get really some
Oh
people feel a
gosh.
certain type of way about us featuring surrounding areas of Amarillo,
Hmm.
and I don't understand that. Growing up from a small town, like I say I'm from Idalou, or I am from Idalou. I graduated from Idalou High School. But when people ask me here, where are you from? I'm going to tell them Lubbock. And then if they know the area, I say Idalou. But
Mhm.
Idalou is considered the Lubbock area.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about here in Amarillo, all these smaller surrounding towns,
Yeah. Well, it's not like,
Bushland, Pampa,
yeah.
Canyon,
Well,
Panhandle. It all kind of runs together.
yeah,
But
my whole thing is people in Amarillo can go enjoy things in Canyon. Like, so why wouldn't we feature things in Canyon? Like, we featured Hotel Turkey, which is awesome, and
yeah,
people from Amarillo go out there. Like, it's okay.
yes.
Just because it's Explore Amarillo doesn't mean we can't venture out a little bit. I mean, you can probably argue if we stuck with only Amarillo that we couldn't do Powder Canyon, because technically Powder Canyon's part of Canyon.
Sure.
Yeah, but that'd be ridiculous. Like, of course, we want to feature Powder Canyon. It's
Yeah.
huge, and more people should know about it, I think.
I
Right?
mean, we've done Pampa
Hmm.
Fest, and whenever we had the fundraisers out here for Panhandle during all of that, I mean, it's all small towns supporting small towns
Yeah.
and the West Texas way, in my opinion. So, yeah, I just wanted to point out there's some people that feel a certain type of way about
All the
it,
time. All the
and
time in the comments.
it's always going to happen. But I mean, again, we're just supporting locals. A lot of these people live in Amarillo and drive to Canyon every day, or vice versa.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. It's just, it
What,
gets us
again,
traction.
we're gonna post things that we enjoy and we think people in Amarillo could enjoy too.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point.
It'd probably be different if we were only posting things in Canyon
Right.
and none of it was Amarillo. I could understand that. So, eh.
Yeah. I always thought Amarillo to Canyon's kind of like Dallas to Fort Worth. People in
Mm,
Dallas they know Fort Worth, they don't think too much of Fort Worth, but Fort Worth really thinks highly of themselves, like better than Dallas.
I think
It's
they
always,
are.
yeah, like, I think it depends on your age too, right? Because as I gotten
or
older, I'm like, I really like Fort Worth now,
or the type of atmosphere that you like. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah, you got the
again,
stockyards in
yeah,
Fort Worth.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do that over going to North Park and shopping.
Yeah. Well, there's Dallas Stars in Dallas, though. You can't go see Dallas Stars in Fort Worth.
Always
So,
back to hockey.
always.
Uh,
Yeah. Um,
well, I think what else should we talk about? I think the most rewarding part of this job, and Kelly and Darcy and I talk about this all the time, but especially here lately, we've been getting a lot of feedback from businesses that we've gone and
mhm.
done a feature video over. and they are noticing more traction in and out of their business. And that is amazing. And it's such a great feeling to know that we're a part of that and we're helping bring more business to the locals. And that's kind of been our whole goal.
Yeah, it's shining that spotlight on things that we like and people that we like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing I can't feature them enough is Shelby's in Town Square.
Yeah.
Like everyone that knows me knows I eat there like 4 times a week, and I really like them, and I like Kenny. You know, they open up Town Square, and he's just been so busy. It's just been great to see. And like
Yeah.
Kenny and me will always sit there and talk about different video ideas, and you know, oh, this posted really well. Why do you think this one did well, or things like that? And that's been a lot of fun. You know, the Big Texan, like it's a whole different animal. And I'm really fortunate because whenever, you know, I took over the social media, I didn't think I knew it probably could be pretty big, but once I started focusing on just videos, that's whenever it really took off.
I was wondering if you were going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, again, everyone, he's talking about when he took over the social pages for the Big Texan Steakhouse.
Yeah. So I used to really be focused on photos, and I would post photos pretty regularly. And then I posted a video, and I was like, man, this did way better than the photo. And then slowly over time, I was like, why don't we just focus on video? What if we just focused on video?
Well, that was whenever TikTok was becoming more popular. And I remember you and I would have those conversations again when I was working in social media with the ad agency, and then you're trying to grow the pages for the Texan. We did talk about all of these things quite a bit, and it all came back to the authenticity of what you get out of a reel or a video.
Yeah.
And I think it also helps people connect more. It's almost like it feels like you're there. Whenever a photo, it's a lot harder to live through a photo.
What's funny is I started posting videos, and you know, I would post all these like special effects and all these filters and stuff. And I remember one of my buddies, he was a server at the restaurant. I was like, you ever look at my videos and stuff? And he started looking at them on TikTok. He's like, dude, it looks like an old man's posting this. He's like, yeah, because I was posting, you know, special effects, all these edits and stuff. And he's like, dude, just post it. Like, just don't put all that on there. Just make it regular. And I was like, really? Like, you don't have to do all this extra fluff? And he's like, no, man. Like, people don't like to see that.
Yeah.
Because that's not real. You know?
I remember telling you that too, even here at Starlight. And we kind of, I think you had that conversation with Darcy a little bit too. I remember watching some of her videos, and it was kind of the same thing because it used to be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even in my college classes when I took video production, it was all about like the transitions and the edits, and these apps allow you to throw in all these extra things, and it makes you feel cool. But when you're watching it as a consumer, it's like it throws off the focus, I guess.
I think people crave that. They want to see what's real, you know, because so much of it is, you know, we see commercials or TVs or movies, and it's all these special effects. But, you know, you crave that raw, just unedited video, because then you see what's like the actual content is versus all the fluff. And I didn't realize that till he was like, dude, it looks like a 40-year-old man is making these videos. And I was like, oh, God.
We need to go back and see what the very first video was that Explore posted. Well, I know the first voiceover I did.
Yeah, and dude, we should talk about that because that was huge. It was a 72-ounce steak video, and I shot a video, and I was like, do you want to do voiceover for this and talk about the 72-ounce steak challenge?
This was after my first one, though.
I don't know.
My first one was that Halloween.
Oh, dude, people
because
hated
I felt so silly doing it too. I was like, okay, but we were just trying to see.
Effects.
Yeah. That's why I think it's funny. Like, we should go back. We should put that on the screen too and show everyone. Like, this is how we started.
Let's not do that. But that, you know, despite, you know, that one, I think that only got like 10,000 views or something like that.
Only 10,000.
Yeah, which because the next one we did got like 2 million views, and that was the second video we posted on the Explore Amarillo TikTok page, and that was the 72-ounce steak challenge. Like you were just talking about the 72-ounce steak challenge at the Big Texan.
Was that us? The Texan posted we collaborate? No, because if it was on TikTok, we posted it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, that's crazy. Like that did so well. And again, not just a lot of video cutting, cut
Mhm.
like video up and splice together. There wasn't a lot of edits. It was just as regular as you can make it,
I do
honestly.
think we've all gotten faster at putting things together,
Hmm.
and it also comes back to the things that we enjoy. Like, I feel like if you asked me to edit a hockey video or a video at the restaurant or something, it would probably take me longer trying to find what looks best. And those are the ones you critique me on the most. That one time I did do one over the Texan and I showed you, and you were like, no, this part needs to go in front because this is what's going to grab their attention. And I also think, like, woman and man, we see
Oh
different, we
yeah.
see things differently. And it's like, well, this is going to grab my attention. And I mean, you know, the Texan better than anyone when it comes to what's going to grab their
Hmm.
attention. But I lost my point there. Basically, we've all gotten better at editing and knowing what
Yeah,
works.
well, we all have
Or,
different styles. Like whenever I do video, especially just on the Big Texan account, the Big Texan's primarily male following. And it's not that I try to do that. It's literally I post what I think is interesting and I have that kind of
mhm.
mindset. I mean, you could go in there and you would find different things that you thought were interesting and it would be a totally different style.
Well, that's kind of what's cool about Explore. I would be curious. We should do, like, we should pull the analytics of our audience per
Oh, I bet you
platform.
it's predominantly women because it's you, Kelly, and Darcy.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
make sense.
Hmm. But you
Um,
can't help it, but that it's just your natural style.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were, when it first started, you were making majority of the videos, and then I would just do the
Hmm.
voiceover. And then Darcy started and started doing her own. I think the first video I edited and put together, like my very own first post, was one of those girls' night ones.
Hmm.
And that was one of the best ones. So again, yeah,
Hmm.
I guess that's where we saw, like, the female audience come through a little bit. But I don't know. I'm also trying to, there was another one too. I think it was another girls' night video I did. I was so excited. Oh, no, it was the wine run out at Bar
Hmm.
Z. I went and did that morning, and I came back and edited the video as soon as I got home just because I was so excited about it. And I threw it together in like maybe 10 minutes when normally it'd probably take me like 30 minutes to an hour,
Hmm.
depending on what it is. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting, and we've all been on, like, a different schedule. I don't know. Schedule meaning, like, Kelly, Darcy, and I are splitting up the days,
Yeah.
and I know you miss, like, putting together the
Oh yeah.
videos for it.
Yeah. I feel like for probably about 6 months, I really haven't been too involved. I feel like you guys,
Yeah, but you were the one that started putting together this on the back end,
right? Yeah.
podcast. You're always the one that's, like, a big part of the big ideas while we're doing the day-to-day stuff
Yeah.
and the back end things,
Yeah.
like the website and all of that.
Well, I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a while because I shoot videos with myself and dad or
Mhm.
dad and Danny, and those videos always do really well. The interesting thing about them, they don't necessarily get like a ton of views, but people always come up to us and talk to us about it, and
After
it
they've been posted?
yeah, and it's like I kind of see it over it's like good quality videos, right? Because if they're coming up and talking
Yeah.
to us about it, that means it really stuck in their mind, and it doesn't have the amount of views, but the people that did see it, it made an impact on. And so that's whenever I was like, well, I mean, technically we could probably just do like a long form content where we sit here and we go more into depth about these stories because I was telling dad like we only can fit so much into a minute time frame, and there's so many stories with the Big Texan, and it's just we were sitting there talking. The Big Texan has roots in Kansas City, and like
Yeah.
you just can't fit that in a minute long video. There's just
Well,
no way.
I remember when we first started dating, you and Tyler were still considering, like, really pushing on YouTube.
Hmm.
And I think that was before YouTube Shorts, like, really became more popular because
Yeah, people make fun of me because I'm a YouTube guy. I love YouTube Shorts, and everyone else is on TikTok or Instagram. I'm like, dude, I whenever me and Tyler were kids, we wanted to be YouTubers, you know,
Yeah.
to get like the plaque they give you with the play
Mhm.
button. Like we've always wanted that so bad. And
This makes me think of it's really funny that y'all always wanted to be YouTubers. You should ask Kelly about this. She had her own YouTube channel like in college, I think. It was either high school or I think it was college, and it was like about making different meals or something. That would be a really fun thing to talk
I
about with
never knew
her.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
that's when her first little influencer thing started.
we used to make videos all the time as kids. We used to have these flip cameras, and it was revolutionary. Did you have a flip? Because whenever you pull that thing back, the USB thing would pop out, and you could plug it into your
I don't know if
computer.
mine was that fancy.
It
I
was,
had one that like it was like a little digital camera and the top of it would turn. Like I could face the camera out that way or face it towards me.
I don't remember that.
I'm gonna have to look it up and show you.
Yeah.
But
I remember the flip camera was so cool because it was like, I think YouTube sponsored it or did something with it because it was like, yeah, you film here and you can upload real easy onto YouTube. But back in the day, dude, it wasn't as easy as like I can film something on my phone and immediately upload it.
yeah.
You had to put it on a computer. It would take like 3 hours to put it on your computer, and then it would take literally probably like 10 hours to upload to YouTube. And it was this whole process. It wasn't that easy. And I think if me and Tyler were kids now, I definitely think we could have done something because like what we used to do stop animation, right? You know what stop animation is?
No.
Tyler and I made so many of these videos where we had little Legos, and what you do is you take individual photos and you could make your
Okay.
Lego like walk.
Yes, now I'm like picturing it.
Yeah, so we would do that all the time, and it would take hours. But we would do these huge, elaborate like storylines with, of course, we had like Harry Potter Legos or Indiana Jones Legos,
Yeah.
and we'd have them interact, and we used to do all this work. And man, if I could find those old videos, I would love to see them because
Yeah.
we'd spend 5 hours a day just making this little guy walk.
That is
Yeah, we used to do
crazy.
that all the freaking time.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wish I could find those videos. We never uploaded them to YouTube because we didn't understand it and it took forever.
Yeah.
No, back in the day, it just didn't make sense. As like a kid, we just couldn't figure it out.
The game changer really was TikTok, man.
Oh,
I
it was
mean,
the iPhone too. I'm gonna tell
yeah,
you the
but
truth.
as far as like easy uploading
Just how quick.
and yeah,
Yeah,
you would all those kids would just film a dance and it's up there.
it's out
And then
there.
it started out with
What
all
was
the
it? It was
dances.
Musically. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it started with that. And then it just took off with all these influencers taking or different directions with it. And that's where the authenticity came from, giving honest reviews.
yeah,
And it has become like this new search engine. That's the search engine that I use
yeah.
before Google because I know I'm going to get like an honest opinion because I can usually tell whether or not it's an ad.
Right.
So,
Well, also speaking of search engines, you know, one of the things to keep on the radar is ChatGPT being a search engine. Because now
oh,
I sit
yeah.
there, I start Googling something, and I'm just like, why am I Googling this? And I have to go find the answer. I can just ask ChatGPT.
Do you always trust that chat? I mean, it's just pulling stuff from Google. So you're like, it's
But it finds the
condensing
answer.
your answer,
Hmm.
I guess.
Hey,
Huh.
it's worked for me so far. So far, it's
Yeah.
been good. I don't think. I mean, a lot of people say ChatGPT can be wrong. I can't tell you a time it's been wrong.
That's what I was going to ask. If you ever trust that it could give you the wrong. There's
Oh, it's
definitely
definitely
like
in
the
the back of your mind.
possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know you could go into that whole thing
Yeah.
with AI. Let's not do that today.
We won't go there today. We'll
No.
just talk about Explore Amarillo
Yeah.
a little bit more.
I think we've
Um,
connected with a lot of people too, which has been neat. And people kind of bouncing ideas off of us as we do go out to their places. I mean, out at Bar Z, I've met great people. I love working with them. It makes it more fun for me to where I can go out there and actually enjoy it and it doesn't feel like a job. And Shark Beach, that's another one. Just like how you were talking about Shelby's Diner. I mean, you're out there all the time, but meeting different people and figuring out like where they started or where they're from, I think that's how the podcast is going to help us tell their story in a different way, because we would have these conversations with these people when we meet them. We go out to their place, we introduce ourselves, we're there to get content, but we're not capturing the story behind all of it. And that's why I think this podcast is going to be really great to show that the full picture.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with, what I talked about earlier with having, dad sitting there telling a story about how he was a kid taking apart a POW camp to build the Big Texan. Like, those stories are so impactful. And there's just no way to tell a story like that besides the person that actually did it, to sit here and just tell you everything about it. And that's basically what we're probably going to be trying to do with this Explore Amarillo podcast. Um, and a lot of it, we'll post the long form content, but we will cut it up into shorts.
Yeah.
Well,
and just having a place to house these longer videos, like you were talking about earlier, you and your dad talking, you would have the long videos, and it was like, well, we could post it on YouTube, and that's kind of where you would keep them for a while. But now having a podcast and being able to keep this story on Spotify, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Or having all the details, right? Because
yeah,
I couldn't tell you. I mean, Dad could sit there and talk about a 20-minute story about the POW camp and what he had to do. I have to shrink that down into a minute. So, like, we lose a lot of details, but I bet you some people would probably be interested in that 20-minute conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, having a place that we can put all that, here's a snippet, here's a long form, and put it all out there. That's kind of the goal. But one thing about Explore, I like to hit on it's for locals, right? Like, for locals to go out, find cool things they didn't know about. But tourism side, I think, is almost equally as important, because Amarillo, we have, people don't realize this, but I-40 has so much traffic. Amarillo's right in the middle of huge metroplex. We have people going from Phoenix, Oklahoma City to Dallas to Denver. We have this small period of time we get with them, right?
Yeah.
And I wish they would stay longer. I wish it was more than like one night stay, but they come through Amarillo, they stay for a night, and that's what the Big Texans done for years. Is that they have dinner, they stay the night, they get up and they leave in the morning.
Yeah, but then they come back through,
right,
and then have another night.
And if show them Powder Canyon, take them out to Cowboys and Cowgirls in the West with Phyllis, do horseback riding and all that stuff. It's just going to help Amarillo grow and kind of get our name out there. And, that's the whole point of what we're doing.
Well, and it's a lot of the times, I mean, people plan their trip out and they're like, okay, we're stopping in Amarillo, staying a night. And then on the way back, they may or may not have plans to stay in Amarillo, whether they do or don't. Coming through the first time and having something like Explore Amarillo to find cool things to do, I feel like that's going to encourage them to stay again on their way back.
Well, and showing them cool places to stay. I remember one of the first places we did as far as staying was Dove's Rest. Dude, super sick. Like, they have great cabins like right on the rim of the canyon, and they're all super unique, right? Like, you can get a huge one, you can get a small one, and you literally are on the rim of Powder Canyon. And I remember posting that video, and at the restaurant, so many servers like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know that these cabins even existed. I was like, yeah, they're freaking awesome. It's great. And just to shine the spotlight on things like that, I think is important.
Well, and what's cool too, and I do think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when we started Explore, it was about tourism. Yeah. That was our goal, was to provide ideas and things to do for the tourists coming in and out of town.
Yeah, but it was also to do positive content of Amarillo, because there was so much negative content out there. It was to, like, basically flatten all the negative and just show positive.
And trying to encourage tourists to go to local places. But something that we didn't expect out of our content was a side and a big chunk of a local following. And it's all these local people that didn't know about all of these other things. So I think it started off with providing positive perspective for tourists coming through Amarillo, but then it grew so quickly because we also pulled in a lot of locals too, because we were trying to showcase that local
Yeah.
part of it.
Well, I mean, it feeds both
Yeah,
markets,
yeah,
right? And I mean, either one, man, makes me just so happy to see
yeah.
like
There's
any
great
business doing well with
things.
tourism or locals, like just to see someone doing well because
Hmm.
like, hey, they saw this video of Shelby's diner, and all of a sudden Shelby's is busy and stuff, and it just makes you happy. It's like
Yeah,
I love to be a part of it. I love to see good people succeed. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
I think it's also cool to think about. I just personally know from people that have come through Amarillo, it's a traditional trip that they take once a year. Like all the people that come from Dallas area that drive through Amarillo to go up to Colorado to ski, and a lot of those families are doing that at least once a year.
Oh yeah.
And Amarillo becomes a part of that road trip, and it becomes like a whole night stay. And I don't know, that's just really cool to think that we have some of the same people coming back every single
Oh,
year.
I can tell you just from the Big Texan alone, we see the same families go into their cabin in New Mexico. They're from Dallas.
Mhm.
They come to the bar. I even know what they order. Like last year, it's a big family, and they always go to their cabin in New Mexico. Last year, he got green tea shots. He ordered like 15 of them. The year before that, he gets
Jeez.
fireball shots. And he always comes to me, and like we always talk about what shot we're doing this year. And Amarillo is definitely. Yeah, I wish it was more of a destination, but we have this opportunity of people traveling through, and we can show them a good time. And you
Even
know,
if it's just a short
yeah.
experience.
And one thing I like to do with Explore is lean into the like Western heritage of Amarillo because I think
Mhm.
that makes us really unique. There's Fort Worth, there's the stockyards. I wish we had something like the stockyards in Amarillo because I think it's awesome. But I always think it's like the true West Texas Amarillo is. And
Mhm.
I didn't realize this, but actually, Hope from Visit Amarillo was telling me people have that perspective of Amarillo being like the Old West. It's because back in the day, the Old West movies with John Wayne and stuff, they were filmed. I think some of them were in Amarillo, but a lot was in like New Mexico. And we kind of have the
Mhm.
same look as New Mexico.
Yeah.
And so whenever they think of the Old West, they imagine what Amarillo looks like. And so, I
Hmm.
think it'd be smart to capitalize on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you really dive deep into the roots, I feel like I learned a lot about it in college too, just about how so much of the land in West Texas, like from the Panhandle down to Lubbock, all of that was untouched for so long, and it was just like based off of like railroads. And the first people that, I mean, cowboys and ranchers, and now Amarillo and surrounding areas, we have like so many uh feedlots.
Yeah.
And that's where everyone talks about like, oh, Amarillo smells like, it just has this smell to it every once in a while, and we're like, smells like money.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny about that? Whenever I was playing hockey at DBU, and we'd take those trips up to Colorado and New Mexico, we'd take a bus. And of course, I'd have the team always stop at the Big Texan.
Mm-hmm.
Dad would have us like a bunch of hamburgers to go. And I remember we stopped the first time we ever stopped. We stopped, and then everyone got off the bus and was like, "What's that smell? What's that smell?" And I swear to God, I didn't smell anything. I was like, "What
Yeah.
are you guys talking about?" Like, dude, it smells like cow shit. And I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "I
uh,
guess I'm so used to it. You just don't even smell it anymore, right?"
no, I was the
Unless it's
same
really
way.
bad. Like if it's really bad, then
Yeah,
I can tell.
there's
But
days that are stronger.
yeah,
I was like that in Lubbock too. I mean, I lived kind of out in the country outside of Lubbock, and there was a feedlot out there,
hmm
and I don't know, like I never really recognized it. And I remember sometimes, like if I had a friend come stay the night with me or something, and they were used to staying in town, and we start driving out into the country, they smell that, and I had no idea what they were talking about.
dude, it's insane. Like it's
Yeah.
so crazy that like you totally forget, like your brain just shuts it off.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just I don't even I swear to God, like I did not smell anything, but they were like just in shock
Yeah.
about being able to smell that. And it's like, dude, this is where it happens. This is where the beef is made.
We really should reach out. That gives me an idea. Like, try to talk to some of the owners of some of these feedlots or even dairies. We have a lot of huge dairies in this area, all the way from here down to Lubbock. And even like the different crops that are off. I mean, there's some states that only offer like 1 or 2 crops,
Yeah.
but we grow so many things between here and
Yeah,
Lubbock
dude.
alone.
Was it Snyder? It's right below Idalou. What's that town called?
Slayton?
Slayton. Yeah. So I remember driving. I was driving to Slayton from I think your house from Idalou, and I was like, man, it really smells like weed. I was like, God, it smells like weed. And dude, they grow hemp down there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
didn't even
was
know it.
recent.
Yeah.
Oh, what year was that? That was like right before I met you.
Yeah,
They
apparently
had
they have
started
like
that.
big
Mhm.
fields of hemp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember the family name that does that, but yeah, I remember when that first started and they were talking about how big of a deal it was going to be.
Dude, it smelled like weed all through that town. It was crazy.
Well, and it's, I don't know, you might not relate to this, but as a kid growing up in the country, we would like we knew what time of year it was by the way the crops looked outside. Like whenever they're planting or whenever they're harvesting, like this time of year, everyone's harvesting their cotton. And it was just like, oh, we always knew that was around like Halloween and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just, I feel like it's a different perspective. I would be curious to talk to someone that maybe it's not really the city life, but someone that was always in Amarillo and hasn't experienced the agricultural part of it outside.
Yeah. Well, one guy, comes to mind whenever we talk about that is, that Glen Rio pot shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the first, I swear, it's right on the Texas border. You go right outside of
Heading to New Mexico.
Heading into Mexico, yeah. It's like the only store in Glen Rio. It's this like marijuana shop. And I met that guy that started that, and he has this crazy story about how he used to grow hemp. And it was like this, it sounded like Breaking Bad. And it was like this wild story. I think he'd be someone, sit down and talk to. But someone else too, you're talking about, talking to someone in the cattle industry here. I would be really interested in talking to somebody about that. It's supposed to be a new plant that's being built, but it's like the ranchers only. It's not like with any meat producer or something like that. I don't know too much about it, but I would like to learn more about it because it sounds really interesting. Yeah, it's supposed to only be funded by ranchers or something like that.
Ranchers, or
and it's supposed to like cut the middleman out for them or something.
Like the distributor?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's the thing. I don't know anything about it. I would like to learn more about it, and I'm sure I could probably find somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with how much meat we order
For
a year,
sure.
I imagine I could probably find somebody that knows a little bit about it.
Yeah. You could probably talk to Fairley too, and he probably has some good connections.
Yeah. Another person I definitely want to bring on is Austin Sutter with hockey. I love hockey. I want hockey to stay in Amarillo forever. I love the Ice Ranch. Extremely fortunate. I moved back from Dallas, and me and Tyler were like, where are we going to play hockey, man? Because the Civic Center, it was going on at the time. But again, like, sometimes a circus comes to town or something else happens, and like you might be out of hockey for months, right? So your next best bet is driving to New Mexico to Albuquerque or going down to Dallas and playing.
Yeah.
And luckily, I'm pretty sure the year we moved back, Austin Sutter built the Ice Ranch, and it's just been great ever since.
We should also talk to Randy Whipple.
Yeah.
The WRCA should be talked about more. I feel I mean, it's already crazy busy, and they were sold out before it even started.
I'm pretty sure they were sold out like weeks
That's
before.
just from the people that are used to coming all the time. Like, imagine if there was more room and then more people of Amarillo were experiencing that. But this is people coming from all over. And it's cool that Amarillo is the home of the WRCA.
Yeah. Well, me and Dad always talk about it. The two things like we see like is a good thing for tourism in Amarillo because we see the traffic at the restaurant is rodeos. Definitely. Whenever
Yeah.
rodeos are in town, like I'm pretty sure everyone in Amarillo could attest to this. Like you see more traffic. You do.
Mhm.
One thing with us, whenever there's a hockey tournament in town, like a Pee Wee tournament, we see more traffic. Big
Hmm.
teams coming in wanting to eat.
Yeah.
And I think, you know,
Oh, also with the sod poodles.
yeah,
A ton of people from Lubbock area I know come up to watch those games.
absolutely.
Minor league baseball.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad they're building that Kids Inc. facility because if they figure it out and they do tournaments, like it's going to be better for everyone in Amarillo.
Where is that being built?
It's right up by, I think it's Bar 3. It's right on the, you know where Skateplex is?
Yeah.
It's right there, right off I-27.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But, you know, you'd imagine these tournaments, these sports, you know, Pee Wee stuff, they would figure out instead of going from Dallas to Colorado to go play, why not just meet in the middle in Amarillo? And me
Mm-hmm.
and Dad have always talked about how, you know, a big sports facility could take advantage of that and
Oh, yeah.
just do huge tournaments here because
Mm-hmm.
we're the middle point from Oklahoma City to Dallas to Houston to Denver to Phoenix, and they could all just meet in the middle here.
Yeah.
You know, I really hope, you know, in the next 10 years people start figuring that out because that's going to be better for Amarillo as a whole.
Yeah, that's really great.
Hmm.
I wish also being a part of FFA growing up, every year there's the state convention, and everyone from all across Texas goes to one place, and they used to alternate it. Um, and it was like, right, I think I was in 8th grade when they did the last state convention in Lubbock. I don't know what year that was, but that was a long time ago. And then they would have one in Dallas or Fort Worth.
You're talking about like stock showing?
No, this is the like Organization of Future Farmers of America, and they had a state convention every year where you would go and if you competed in SEEs or LDEs, they were just competitions like creed speaking or oh my gosh, there's so many. I'm like losing my thoughts in it. But my point in this is that there were so many places south and central Texas that everyone would go. And these conventions would hold. I remember in Corpus Christi, them saying, this is the last year we can house it here because there's too many of y'all and we can't fit you.
Jeez.
There were over 10,000 of us all across the state of Texas, just Texas FFA members. And I've always wished, and I know Lubbock had this goal at one point because they talked about building that expo center, and it still hasn't happened. But imagine if Amarillo could provide something like that because of the nature of where we're at. Like we were talking about all the different high agricultural points. It would be great if they could build something like that where they could house, I mean, I'm sure.
Well, it's either going to be us or Lubbock, right?
Yeah. But Area 1 is one of the biggest areas in all of Texas. So FFA splits it up between all these different areas, and Area 1 is one of the bigger ones, which is basically all of Panhandle. I would have to look at a map. I haven't been in it. It's in like 10, has it been 10? Yeah, 10 years. Now I'm aging myself. But I just remember thinking how cool that would be to, I mean, it's great for the town, and it brings a different perspective to it because we were driving all the way to Corpus Christi, but it's like, imagine if all of those Texas FFA members were coming up to Amarillo.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even
stock shows alone, man. Like if we could have stock shows here, that'd be great.
Well, they have
so many families come up and you know they stay multiple nights. It's just
you'll have the Tri-State Fair, which is, I mean, that's like a summer jackpot fair,
right.
Like the South Plains Fair. But the Texas majors, the closest one is probably San Angelo. Then you have San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth. Those are both separate ones. Dallas is the state fair, which is also in the summer. But Houston, I don't know if I said San Antonio, but Houston and San Antonio are definitely the bigger ones, and Austin.
I mean, it's such a big city. They think of all the hotels they have to offer and that kind of thing.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
how many
That
people
was
probably go to
probably-
that? Probably
Oh,
thousands and thousands.
I don't know. And it's like, at least a month long or a couple weeks long. Um, but yeah, it would be great if that were something that we were able to offer and bring. I mean, even being in Lubbock during FFA and stock showing, we came to Amarillo for our area 1 convention. It was here at Tascosa High School. And then we went to Clarendon for our leadership camp. That's where I met your cousin Grace. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I've always thought that having a state convention or having a place like that would be great for the agricultural community.
Yeah. Well, especially, you imagine we would have something here in Amarillo just because we're surrounded by ags,
Yeah.
Agriculture.
I don't know that we would have as many people willing to drive all the way up here. Like, of course, all of us will drive all the way to Houston, the 10, 12-hour drive for a stock show. But, and I also think, I mean, being in major stock shows, when you would hear, after each class, after they've placed everything, they'll come on the intercom and they say, like, basically 10th place up to first place, their name and where they're from, or like if they're part of 4-H or FFA. And I do think, and maybe I'm being biased, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I don't know a whole lot about sheep or goats, but I know for pigs and cattle, a lot of those showers were from West Texas.
Yeah. Well, real quick, Jaycee showed pigs back in high school.
Well, I started in 3rd grade.
Yeah, in 3rd grade. Yeah, that was one of the first things I did with you. You like, yeah, come down to my brother's stock show. Never been to one in my life. I go in there and I see a bunch of people with these weird little strings attached to a stick swatting these pigs around, and I was like, what is going on right now? Like, I've never been to one. And that was the first time I met your dad and your family.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, what are these people doing? And like, they took it so serious with swatting this pig. But it clicked underneath their chin. It keeps their head up. I get it. As someone that has no idea about anything like that, like, it was surprising.
Surprising.
Yeah, really surprising.
The same way that you feel excited and like prideful of hockey, that's how I feel with stock shows.
Right.
That was like my whole life. It's what, like, your family did hockey together. Y'all went to all your hockey games in college.
Yeah, in college. I mean, whenever you get into high school here in Amarillo, it's all football. We didn't have the ice ranch or anything like that. So,
but even now, like, you and Tyler are both in the beer league. Now your dad is playing, so y'all are all back to playing, and that's just what y'all do together. And I think that's what it was for me. And it wasn't just like my immediate family. Like, it's not something I just did with my parents or my siblings, but that's also how I met our really close friends, the Hunsakers. I mean, we shared a barn with them and basically grew up with them. And then you meet all of these other people. Shelby, her and I, like, we did stock showing together.
Yeah.
And my granddad, Bob, he raised pigs out in Fort Davis, Texas. And then we started raising a couple pigs. And that's a whole other thing, too.
What's shocking to me is the amount of work that goes into stock showing and seeing, I mean, kids like taking care of these animals.
Yeah.
Like what you do is just, it's
I think
incredible. It's an incredible amount of work.
I was so excited for you to come see that. And I wasn't showing anymore, obviously, because I graduated. And I guess Kennedy was when you and I met, Kennedy was graduated from high school. So it was only Mason left. And you went to our local show in Idalou. And you never got to go to a major with us, but still getting to go to the stock shows with my family and see other people that we knew, like that I knew when they were little bitty in 3rd grade, and then they grew up to be seniors, and I got to watch their last show at the Houston Stock Show. I don't know. It makes me so happy. And I actually miss being able to go to it. So someone asked me that the other day. Janie, she came and saw me at the show at Christmas Roundup, and something brought up stock showing, and she was like, do you miss it? And I was like, oh yeah. Like, I would give anything. And I know I used to complain about having to go shovel poop 3 times a day, but I would do it in a heartbeat. I miss it so much.
Yeah, I just can't believe the amount of work. I mean, little kids taking care of these animals, giving them their shots, feeding them,
Yeah.
what, 3 times a day and checking up on them all the time. Especially you talk about in the winter time, having to go out to the
Oh
barn and
gosh. That was honestly the worst. And any stock show kid could relate to that, to breaking water whenever it freezes over. Even if we had like the barn where we had our sink and we had the hot water, sometimes the pipes would freeze. So we were carrying buckets back and forth from the house to the barn to make sure these animals got watered, and carrying straw, like a huge hay bale.
it probably weighs more than you.
Oh, as a third
Yeah.
grader, I was maybe like 40 pounds,
Yeah.
and I had on rubber boots that went past my knees, and I'd have to walk through mud and my feet would get stuck. I remember one time my mom had to come help me get unstuck, and we couldn't get my boots out of the mud. Like, I just,
Yeah.
oh, I have a really, we need to get back to Explore, but I have a really funny video. My mom's gonna hate me for this, but I remember I was in third grade and we didn't have our own barn yet, so we were at the school barn. But I do remember like one of the pigs got out and it was just me and my mom up there. My dad wasn't up there, my siblings weren't there, and my mom's trying to help me get this pig back in the pen. And you've probably never seen it, and it's kind of gross, but sometimes like when a pig gets excited and they just take off running, it's kind of funny, like the way that their legs go. But anyways, this pig was taking a shit and got excited right in the middle of it because my mom was coming up behind it, and it started taking off running. So the little bit of shit that was left on its butt flew in the air, and my mom's like yelling, and it lands in her mouth.
Oh my God. You have a video of that?
No, I
Oh.
mean, no. That was so long ago, like before we had,
Yeah,
like
it was
before I had a cell
flip phone.
phone. Yeah, but my mom went through a lot.
I'm
Like,
sure
I
she
don't think
did.
my mom ever thought she would be doing something like that. Like, my dad is what got us into stock showing. So, I mean, even the stuff that the parents have to do, it's like, it was a job. I didn't have a job in high school because stock showing was my, on top of all my other extracurriculars. But yeah, it really makes you prideful of everything in the agricultural industry. And that's why I ended up back in an ag college at Texas Tech. I changed my major 3 times, and the only time I had finally felt confident in what I decided on is because I went back to the College of Agriculture. And I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. One thing to finish up on, one thing I think we need to do on Explore is, we have the 100th year anniversary of Route 66.
Yeah.
And I really want to highlight everything on Route 66 in Amarillo, or just the Panhandle in general. I think to come, we will probably push Route 66 pretty heavily.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had that Route 66 festival for how many years now?
I think it's going on 3, and it seems to get bigger and bigger. And I really hope this next year it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I mean, Route 66 is one thing. Domestically, I think people in America kind of are into it, kind of not. But you go to Italy, you go to Europe, and those people love it. The Germans, like, they are all so excited for the 100th year anniversary. And I think with Explore, I definitely want to go around and highlight, if we just have to take a little road trip, with the Explore crew and hit every single thing on Route 66, I think that would be something really cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. And that is I noticed that when we would go travel, especially if it was, I mean, here recently, we went to Italy, and I feel like you and your dad talked to more people about Route 66 than y'all have in the past 10 years.
Yeah, international-wise, they love it.
Yeah.
And, that's what Amarillo has versus any rest of the part of Texas. Like, we have Route 66.
Yeah.
And I think we need to really take advantage of it and show, everyone what we have to offer. I really do think that'd be important.
Of course.
So let's wrap it up with that. All right.
Okay.
First podcast down, right?
Ooh, we have so many fun things coming up too
All
during the holidays.
Cool.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.